There is a question that has puzzled humanity for 4,600 years, one that even the top scientists dare not conclusively answer. How could a group of people with no steel and no machinery build a miracle that gives even modern engineering a headache? The Great Pyramid consists of 2.3 million massive stone blocks, with the heaviest pieces weighing as much as 10 trucks combined. But the most mind-boggling part isn't the sheer weight, it's a precision error of less than 1 centimeter. What's even stranger is that it perfectly aligns with the 4 cardinal directions of the Earth. Some people even suspect that this wasn't the work of Earthlings at all. So, what on earth is the truth? Who exactly built the pyramids? If you think this is merely an ancient architectural miracle, then you are seriously underestimating it. What truly makes your skin crawl is that this massive structure, the Great Pyramid of Giza, was an almost impossible task to complete 4,600 years ago. Its builder was an ancient Egyptian pharaoh, a ruler who claimed to be the living embodiment of God on earth, and this pyramid was the house of eternity he prepared for himself. But here lies the problem. How could a civilization with no steel tools and no wheeled transportation system complete a project of this magnitude? The first layer of the answer is actually far more human than you might think. Ancient Egypt was not a primitive tribe, but a highly organized state. The annual flooding of the Nile brought fertile soil, causing food production to skyrocket. This meant they could sustain a massive full-time construction army. At its peak, the number of people involved in construction may have exceeded 20,000 workers hours. This was not the forced labor of tortured slaves, but rather resembled a state-level infrastructure project. In other words, this was the ancient world's version of a mega-project. Yet no matter how many people there were, it couldn't solve the core mechanical problem. What about the stones? On average, each stone block weighed between 2 and 15 tons, and there were even massive granite blocks weighing up to 50 tons, transported from hundreds of kilometers away. The first mainstream theory is called the external ramp theory, which is simple and straightforward. Build a massive earth ramp and drag the stones up it. It sounds reasonable, but the math quickly falls apart. If the slope were too steep, humans wouldn't be able to pull the weight. If the slope were too gentle, the ramp would need to be over a kilometer long, requiring even more material to build than the pyramid itself. Crucially, to this day, no physical remnants of such a massive external ramp have ever been found. Because of those mathematical limitations, a second, more clever theory emerged. The internal ramp. Simply put, the ancient Egyptians might have built a spiraling, upward ascending passage inside the pyramid to transport the stones up layer by layer. This theory, first proposed by a French engineer, can even explain a mysterious structural feature, the eerie Grand Gallery inside the pyramid. This gallery is up to 8 meters high, yet extraordinarily narrow. In the past, nobody knew its purpose, but now some believe it may have acted as a giant counterweight system. Imagine a heavy weight sliding down on one side to pull a massive stone up on the other side, acting like a primitive elevator. At this point, you start to see that the engineering mindset of the ancient Egyptians was already incredibly close to modern mechanical logic. But what really blew the archaeological community's mind is a third theory, an approach centered around water that has gained serious attention following a 2024 study. Researchers discovered that near the currently arid Giza Plateau, a major branch of the Nile River once flowed right past the site. In other words, when the pyramids were being built, this place wasn't a landlocked desert, but a bustling waterway hub. Massive stones could be transported directly to the construction site by boat, drastically reducing logistical difficulty. Taking the water theory a step further, some scientists have put forward a bold hypothesis. The ancient Egyptians might have used a hydraulic lifting system. Yes, you heard that right, the equivalent of an ancient hydraulic elevator. They might have utilized seasonal floodwaters and complex reservoir systems to channel water into vertical shafts built inside the core of the pyramid. By controlling the water level, they could raise and lower a heavy floating platform, thereby lifting the massive stones to higher levels effortlessly. While highly controversial, this theory beautifully explains a critical question: how certain massive stones could be precisely placed within extremely confined spaces. If true, it means that 4,500 years ago, humans had already mastered the concept of harnessing natural forces to accomplish heavy industrial work. However, no matter which theory you favor, none can completely explain every single detail. For instance, why do the four faces of the pyramid align so flawlessly with the true north, south, east, and west? How was the margin of error kept under a single centimeter? Even with modern engineering equipment, it is highly difficult to achieve this level of precision on such a massive scale. What's even more eerie is that we have found almost no blueprints. The ancient Egyptians left behind vast amounts of literature, from administrative papyri to religious texts, yet the one thing missing is a construction plan for the pyramids. It is as if someone intentionally erased the construction logs from history. Even more mysteries lie ahead. In 2017, scientists utilized advanced cosmic ray particle detection technology inside the Great Pyramid to discover a massive, completely unknown void. Nobody has ever entered it, and nobody knows what is sealed inside. Some scholars believe it is merely a structural decompression space designed to keep the ceilings from collapsing under the weight. But others boldly speculate that this might be the actual untouched burial chamber. Because to this very day, Pharaoh Khufu's mummy and treasures have never been found. In other words, this world-famous tomb might not have actually buried its owner at all. So the question returns to the very beginning. Who exactly built the pyramids? Was it a miracle accomplished by the ancient Egyptians through supreme organizational capability, or have we drastically underestimated their level of technology? Or perhaps does it still hide an ancient system of knowledge that we do not yet fully understand? The answer may not be supernatural, but precisely because we haven't fully figured it out, it remains utterly staggering. The pyramid is not just a monument. It is a question spanning 4,600 years, continuously challenging the limits of human cognition. What truly fascinates us isn't a final answer that already exists, but the fact that we are constantly moving closer to the truth.